Hello, I'm back. I did say these were going to be daily-ish videos, so that means not daily. And here we are with another one. It's already mid-afternoon at this point, and I have exercised, done dishes, gone for a walk, eaten lunch, and now we're gonna make peanut butter cookies because yum, why not? For this recipe, which I got from my mom, you're gonna need butter, peanut butter, granulated sugar, brown sugar or honey, I'm gonna use brown sugar, baking soda, baking powder, an egg, vanilla, and flour. So if you want to bake along, you can do that. I'm gonna be putting the recipe at the end of the video and you can screenshot it. The first step in this recipe, as in many recipes, is a bowl. So get a medium bowl. To that bowl add half a cup of butter. This is a recipe I've never made before. Ooh, we should preheat the oven because otherwise that's going to be annoying. It needs to be preheated to 375. Half a cup of peanut butter goes to your butter. A nifty trick my mom taught me when I was learning how to bake is to get out all your ingredients, as I have done, and then as you use them, put them away, because then when you go to put it in the oven, if anything's left out on the counter, you know you missed it. So it's harder to miss an ingredient. Also, you don't get halfway through a recipe and realize you're missing something. If you have an electric mixer, you'll want it at this stage. I think you could do this by hand. It would just, be a lot of work. And then you want to mix your butter and your peanut butter together for 30 seconds. Beautiful. Now we are going to add our sugar. Hi, Flynn. Yeah, it's true. We're going to add sugar. Half a cup of sugar. Now you want either half a cup of packed brown sugar or a quarter cup of honey. Half teaspoon baking soda, half teaspoon baking powder, and mix it. Occasionally you'll want to scrape down the sides so that it's actually all getting combined. That seems combined. Now we add in the egg. I am keeping my egg in a little bowl currently because the other day when I was baking, I put an egg on the counter with all my other ingredients and I turned around and heard a shp, and it had rolled off the counter and onto the ground. So that was fun. I also always break my egg into a little bowl because then if you do get any shell in it, it's much easier to get out. Egg. And half a teaspoon of vanilla. This half teaspoon is getting a workout today. Once more, beat until combined. Lovely. An ooey gooey peanut buttery mixture. Now we are going to do flour. You want a cup and a quarter worth of flour. You're going to mix this in stages. Eventually it's probably going to get too thick for your mixer and you're going to start doing it by hand. Putting your flour into the measuring cup with a spoon helps keep it nice and light and fluffy because you don't want your flour to be packed like brown sugar. You want it to be very light. I'm going to put about half of this in to start. And then we want another quarter cup of flour. I managed to get all of mine pretty much incorporated all the way through, but I'm gonna have fun getting this out. If you weren't able to with your mixer or didn't have a mixer, just be mixing it with a wooden spoon. It should be like a nice gooey consistency. Personally, I don't recommend eating cookie dough that has eggs in it because salmonella and stuff, but you're in your own home. I can't stop you. It sure smells good. At this point, you should have no more ingredients on the counter, and that means you remembered everything. Make sure there's no remaining powdery bits at the bottom of your bowl. Nice doughy peanut butter dough. If yours is feeling really loose, you can cover it and put it in the fridge for a bit till it firms up a bit. I'm gonna roll mine right into cookies. We recently bought silicone cookie sheets instead of parchment paper, and they're great. At this stage, you're gonna wanna get your white sugar back out. I know, don't hate me. You're gonna roll your cookies in it. Delicious. So just pour some into a bowl, basically. Bye again, sugar. At this point, I would recommend washing your hands again because we are going to be touching the dough with our hands. Or like put gloves on if that grosses you out, I don't know. Now that you have clean hands, take some of the dough and basically roll it into kind of an inch round ball, like so-ish, and dip it in your sugar. Just roll it all over so it's all delightfully sugar coated, and then put it on your tray until your tray is full. This recipe should make approximately 36 cookies, depending on how big we make them. After you've washed your hands again, because they were covered in cookie dough grease and sugar, we are going to take a fork and crisscross squish our cookies. Just a little flat. See? Squeezed cookies. And then you are going to put these in the oven for like 7 to 9 minutes or so until the bottoms are kind of lightly browned, and then you're going to move them onto your cooling rack until you eat them. I like to have 2 trays going when I'm making cookies, just because you take one out, you put one in, so you can prep another tray if you like, or you can just work with 1 tray. I'm definitely going to get 24 cookies out of this, but I don't know about 36. Everyone likes big cookies. Who wants a little BB button of a cookie? That means I'm just going to eat 5 of them. If I make them bigger, I only need 2 of them. So I've already done a decent number of my goals today because I have exercised and done dishes, although I'm currently making more, and I'm baking cookies. So I will hopefully edit and post this video today. Maybe do some more dishes. I still haven't cleaned the house from last week, so hopefully I get that done tonight. When you have 2 cats, and I feel like they're shedding in springtime, I don't know, but the dust bunnies, man, are wild. Start the week off with cookies is the priority, so hopefully these turn out, because again, never made these before. The cookies have gotten way huger than I'm used to seeing them, so clearly I rolled them larger than an inch. I'm gonna give them another 30 seconds, because I don't think they're done. Well, that was the 30 seconds. Maybe they're done? We're gonna say those are good. And we're gonna put these ones in. These are my now giant cookies. Except I left this cloth here. Just sizzling. Okay. Let's see if we can get these on the cooling rack. These smell delightful. Okay, and we're gonna let this pan cool a little bit before we put the rest of the dough on it. Hey, look, cookies! We got these racks when we lived in an apartment, and look. They stack so you can preserve counter space and stack your things higher. It's great! Righto, righto. Now the most important part of baking cookies, which would be to taste one. They're good. Might have overcooked them a little bit. They're nice and golden on the bottom, but they're good. This is very much adequate. That's appropriate considering my shirt. So these are delicious. I consider this to have been a rousing success. If you need peanut butter cookies, my mama's recipe is right here. So you can screenshot this and bake them for yourself. It's not like she invented this recipe. It's from a cookbook she has. But yum, yum, yum. Have a good day. Go bake some cookies, and maybe see you later this week. Squish the cookie. Squish, squish the cookie. Squish the cookie. Squish, squish the cookie. These are like very different sizes. I was not being careful.